Now let's inject some fun into our app by adding emojis to our game cards. So first we go to our game interface and add a new property called rating underline top of type number. Now in the objects that we receive from our API, we also have a property called rating. The difference between these two properties is that rating is a floating point number, but rating top is a whole number. So it can only be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Now we're going to render different emojis based on rating top. So we don't need rating for now. So I'm going to delete it. Okay. Now below this video, I've added 3 images. Grab those images and add them to the assets folder. So let me grab them, put them here. Good. Next, we need to add a new component called emoji. Now here we should receive the rating of a game as a prop. So let's add our interface. Here we add rating of type number. Next we add it here. Now, if the rating is less than 3, we don't want to render anything. Otherwise, we're going to render different emojis based on the rating. To implement that, we're not going to throw a bunch of if statements here. That's ugly. Instead, we're going to use a map object. But first, we should import our images on the top. So import bullseye from we go up to assets and grab bulls-i.webp. Next, we import thumbs up from assets / thumbs-up.webp. And finally, import meh from assets / meh.webp. Okay, now let's create a map object. So in this component, we create an object called emoji map. Now in this object, our keys are numbers that represent the rating of a game. So we have 3, and we map this to an object with a couple of properties. Source, which is going to be meh, and alt, which is meh as well. We're going to use this value on images to improve accessibility. Okay. Now let's duplicate this a couple of times. For rating of 4, we're going to render thumbs up, and the text is recommended. And for the rating of 5, we're going to render a bullseye, and the text is going to be exceptional. Now, at the end, we return an image. Now here we can set individual properties like source and alt, but we can also render the value associated with a given key. So we add braces and spread emoji map of rating. Now here we have a compilation error that you have seen before. To solve this, we have to annotate this object with, we have to say in this object, we have any number of keys of type number. So in square brackets, we type key of type number. Again, as a reminder, this is called an index signature. Using this syntax, we can tell the TypeScript compiler that this object can have any number of keys, and the keys are numbers. Now we should map each key to an image props object defined in Chakra. So let's import it. So this type defines the props available on the image component. Okay. Now let's set box size to, let's say, 25 pixels. So our component is almost ready. Now let's add it to our game card. So we go to the game card component. Here's our heading. Right after the name, we render an emoji and set the rating to game.rating top. Let's see what we get. So, okay, it doesn't look too bad, but look, the size of thumbs up is a little bit bigger than bullseye. So here we should render the size dynamically as well. So let's go back to our emoji component and add a new property here called box size. So for meh, I'm going to use 25 pixels. For thumbs up, I'm going to use the same value. And for bullseye, I'm going to use 35 pixels. Of course, I played with these numbers before recording this video, so there is nothing magical here. Now that we have the box size, we remove it from here. And because we're spreading this object, all these properties will be added to our image component. this is much nicer than setting individual props. Okay, let's see what we get. So now the size is better, but these emojis are a little bit too close to our heading. So let's give this image a top margin of 1. Okay, that looks nicer. So we're done with this step, and it's time to commit our code to the repository. So add emojis.